Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf News, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Greetings, everybody. How's it going this evening?
It's going well with me, and I hope it's going well with our listeners. So let's look at what is in store for this week in the game news. And this week we had a preview video of Update 26, Warlock's Legacy. And did you learn anything from there?
Yes, I learned that when I created my Warlock on the Mania, I created it wrong.
What?
Yeah, I found out I was using the wrong stat. And I couldn't figure out why on the Mania I had such low spell power. Well, now I know the stat that I need to use. So good thing that was a Mania, not live.
Oh, you didn't do like me and actually look at the information that was on the tooltips.
No, I didn't read anything. I decided, I can create one of these. No problem.
Oh, actually, now I remember, I didn't do it from the tooltips. I opened up my 5th edition Player's Handbook and looked up what the Warlock did on there, and they told me. And I made the assumption that the Warlock used the same attribute for the game as they do in 5th edition.
Yeah, see, now, that would have made sense. That's what I should have done, or I should have read the Bloomin' Tooltip. But no, I didn't. So
I'm wondering if the tooltip was available if I went and resorted to the Player's Handbook.
It might not have been. I really can't remember, to tell you the truth. But yeah, this was actually last week on the weekly Wednesday live stream that Cordovan does every Wednesday on the official DDO Twitch channel. This time, as you said, of course, they took a look at the Warlock in Update 26. Had a few of the devs on with him. They answered some questions and showed you a preview and talked about some of the other upcoming things that are with the Warlock. It was, I actually watched the stream live. I haven't watched it back, this YouTube video that they released of it, but I did, my schedule worked out that day to where I was actually home, so I got to watch it live, and I enjoyed it a lot. Of course, I always enjoy it when the devs are on, because you get just a little bit of like nuggets of information that they just kind of slyly talk about, and then we weren't supposed to say anything about that, so we'll just move on. So, it's always nice when we get to just the little hints from the devs themselves. All
right. Then let's go into a little thread. Is armor, helms, and weapons. What would you like to see tweaked for new items? What's all about?
There is an interesting thread in the forums. This is done by executive producer Severlin. He asked the question, there have been some threads about cosmetics and armor colors, so I wanted to get player feedback for our artist. He has 2 questions for the players. If you could take an in-game armor, helm, or weapon and change the color on it, or change some details about it and put the look into the game as a new item or cosmetic, what items would you like to see tweaked? And the other question he has, if you could have an entirely new armor set, helm, or weapon, what would you want to see in the game? So it sounds like they're maybe wanting to update some of the armor looks, maybe some of the cosmetics, just a little bit, or tweak them. And if you look at this thread, there's been some great discussion in the thread and some great ideas, and Severlin himself even said that he's really enjoyed the thread, and the art department has got some good information from players. So hopefully we might see some new things in the game soon. So my question for you, Pineleaf, is what would you like to see?
What would I like to see for armors, helms, and weapons?
Or a cosmetic, too. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be like an armor or helm or anything.
I really haven't thought too much about cosmetics, actually. I've just haven't gotten into the... I'm still trying to figure out how to use my characters properly.
Yeah, well, there is that.
Yeah, the cosmetics, that's sort of the gravy that comes along on top of it after you know how to actually play the game.
True, that's very, very true. I think the only thing I would like to see is some better looking robes. I don't really like any of the robes I've seen so far. And those are about the best looking, I think, cosmetic type items. And I really can't think of one example of a robe that I would wear cosmetically. And I guess, to be honest, I don't know if it's because it's based on Dungeons and Dragons, or I don't really put that much into what my character looks like in DDO. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. In other games, I do, I'm not like the total like cosmetic freak or anything, and I'll spend hours dyeing things and trying to get the right combination or anything like that. But I kind of like my characters to look kind of nice. But in DDO, I really haven't done that. I mean, I have bought when there was a couple of the armor sets in the DDO store that were on sale a while ago. I did buy a couple of those because I kind of like the looks of them. But that's really about as far as I've gone. I don't really think about it too much in DDO. And then again, I'm not sure if that's a bad thing or not.
Yeah.
But kind of like you, I'm more concerned on, learning my character and, trying to not min-max per se, but trying to make my character better. And I really don't care what I look like that much.
Right, that's the thing about it. So we're still learning the game a little bit, and probably because I'm less likely to do some sort of role-playing and meetup event in DDO than I am to do it in Lotro.
True, yeah. Yeah, I after I saw this thread, I've been thinking about it, and I'm just like, I really don't know if I mind that there's not that many options. I guess like I said, I would like to see a little better looking robes maybe, and some different style armor, but I guess it's kind of hard because you can only do so much with armor. Maybe some like brighter color armor, maybe, I guess would be my only suggestion if I had to give a suggestion. Maybe some like reddish or like some, like dark red or something armor. That would be kind of cool.
All right, then. Then let's head into the DDO Chronicle, which is issue 145, and I'm trying to exactly make out this top picture here.
That's
what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's from the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I do see that air sign in the back there.
Yeah, it's, I think, if I remember right, that is near the entrance to the final boss in the second part. Definitely from the Temple of Elemental Evil, and like I said, I think it's part 2, but I've only been in part 2 a couple times, so.
And I've only been there once, and it was like saying, all right, what's happening? What's happening?
How are we going to die here? Yeah, we need to try that again and actually try to beat that silly boss sometimes. But in the Chronicle this week, J.J. Flanagan is updating the popular Kenneth crafting planner with the shard search and more. So you can click over and find out what's new for the Kenneth crafting planner. I know a lot of people that really love crafting use this planner a lot. I would not be one of them, but more power to you. There is a new player called Steel Renderer who is streaming DDO regularly now on Twitch. So you can click over and find their channel and give them a follow. In community event news, the 6th annual Halfling Summer Games began last weekend on Kyber.
Halfling Summer Games.
Bunch of halflings running around doing stuff. That's all you need to know, Pilot.
Mm-hmm. That's different from going through the Shire in what way?
Well, a halfling is not a hobbit. We won't get into that whole discussion. It's a gray, murky area.
It's a gray, murky area.
In fansite news, DDO Cast had their latest edition of their Guild Feud. It was back. Click and give that a watch or a listen. We got a shout out for episode 34 where we were lamenting our loot luck. Basically, it was me complaining about not getting anything out of the temple. But, yeah. DDO Gamer went over to Lamania to take a look at the Warlock. Head over there and see what Jeff had to say about that. And Edric also went into the Temple of Elemental Evil. So people are still running through the temple. And that is really about it for the Chronicle this week.
All right, then let's head into the store sales. And what's on sale this week? Anything nice?
20% off stat tomes, select skill and UMD tomes, tomes of learning, tomes of fate, and the ever-popular Harper Agent Enhancement Tree. The free sample of the week is a good sample, and that is till June 11th. You can get a Greater Remove Negative Level Potion. You can get one of those potions with the coupon code GRNLP9. GRNLP9. Once again, coupon code, as always, is one code per account.
The good news is that it removes a negative level. The bad news is it's going to take up an inventory slot, which is so precious.
Well, yeah, well, that's because you carry too many potions around in your bags.
Well, yeah. So adding one more potion isn't exactly going to...
I got to say, what's one more potion for you? I mean, come on.
What we need in DDO is a potion bandolier.
Okay. Just grab them when you need them. You always have them handy. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was thinking potion bandolier that doesn't take up an inventory slot.
Oh, hey, there you go. I thought you actually wanted a cosmetic of having like a little, sash that just had a bunch of potions on it, and your character just grabbed them when you used them.
Well, that works too. Let's go to the site news.
Okay.
We had a poll on what pact do you plan to use with your warlock.
22 voters for 73% of the vote is planning on using the Great Old One, which actually kind of surprised me. I'm not sure. Like I said, I am not, and I think this is well established now, I am not a min-maxer by any stretch of the means. But all I see people talking about is the Great Old One. So I'm wondering what is so spectacular about this pact that everybody plans on using it.
I don't know. Maybe they just want to say that I worship Cthulhu.
That could very well be. And in a very distant, and I do state distant, second place with only 4 votes, or 13% of the vote, was the Fiend.
And only 3 voted for the Fae.
Which surprised me. I figured more people would vote for Fae than the Fiend, actually. But
now, what I noticed, though, is that there were only 30 voters.
True, yeah. We didn't have as many voters this week as we normally have.
Do you think DDO will bring back evil alignments built on the Fiend-based Warlock characters?
One can only hope.
And that was a question by Chris from the replying to the article. All right. Well, we had our 5,000 point giveaway, and have we got a winner?
We now have a winner. We drew our winner, but alas, they did not contact us back in time. Draw a new winner, and they responded right away. So they were apparently waiting for the email to come in.
Wait, I know I'm the winner.
So we want to congratulate Don. He did win our 5,000 point turbine giveaway. And we want to thank all of our Patreon patrons for helping us have that giveaway.
Very well, then. Then let's head into our news beyond DDO. And the first item is that Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition wins at the Origins Awards. And what awards did it win?
Of course, the annual Origins Game Fair was held over the last weekend. And 5th edition did walk away with a couple awards from the show. They won Best Role-Playing Game for the Player's Handbook and the Best Role-Playing Supplement for the Monster Manual. So yet more awards 5e has been winning. They have been cleaning up on the awards circuit this year.
All right. I'm just looking at some of the other games that are here. Sheriff of Nottingham apparently won for Best Board Game.
Which that game is awesome, by the way, if you haven't played it.
I've seen it played on various Watch It Played things and stuff like that, but I haven't actually played the game.
Yeah, it's very, very fun.
You have to be good at bluffing.
Yes, you do.
If you can play poker, you could probably play Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah, well, and if you would know my group of friends that I play with, it's interesting when we play that game.
All right, and what else have we got? We have got Into the Dragon's Maw, a new Goodman Games adventure for 5th edition. And what is it about this that attracted your attention?
This one will take you, is for characters of the 12th level. So the previous Goodman Games adventures have been for lower level characters, so this one's for a little higher characters. It's $9.99. You can get the 16-page adventure. And if you look at the picture of the cover that I put on the article, you might notice something special about it. There is a free RPG Day logo on it. And in case you don't know, free RPG Day is coming up on Saturday, June 20th. And basically what you do is you go to your friendly local game store, if you're lucky enough to have one, and you can get a bunch of free RPGs. Each store does it differently. Some stores you just walk in and you ask for them and they give them to you. Other stores you have to participate. You know, they might be playing like a Catan tournament, or they might be playing a Sheriff of Nottingham tournament, or I've seen a couple stores even go old school and do like Risk or something. They might have some type of tournament going at the store, and if you win that tournament, you get some of the better stuff out of the free RPG. But this Into the Dragon's Maw is actually one of the things that is going to be free. It's on the gold level of the free RPG Day, so that means there will be 10 of these per box per game store. So you might get lucky and get one for free.
And when you say per box, does that mean each game store gets one box?
Actually, it's up to the game store. The game store has to purchase the box, so they can buy as many as they want. I guess it would depend on how big your game store is. Basically, most game stores that I know of that are like close to me only ever get one. They only ever buy one box. But I know in bigger cities, I've heard that some of the bigger game stores in the bigger cities will buy like 2 or 3 boxes. So your miles might vary on that. And later, closer to the date, I am going to put up a little post on DDO Players about Free RPG Day in case anybody is not familiar with what it is. And you can head over to the website and pop in your zip code and find out if any stores near you are participating. Sadly, I don't have any near me that are. The closest one to me is about an hour and 45 minutes away.
Yes. I have no idea if my game store is participating in this, but I do notice that happens to be falling on their Dungeons and Dragons Day.
Is that right?
So they have an RPG event that day. Anyway.
That'll be a busy day for that game store. And also of note about the Into the Dragon's Maw, if you buy the printed version of it, you will get a code inside that will allow you to download the digital PDF version for free. And the digital edition will be updated on a regular basis as needed if they make any changes to the 5e rules or anything of the sort. The digital copy will be updated on the fly. So that's something to consider. If you're going to pick up the printed version, you will get the digital for free.
And the rise of Tiamat crushes up from the ground to Fantasy Grounds.
Yes, Fantasy Grounds is continuing to chug out the 5e content since they got the 5e license. This time, it's Rise of Tiamat. We told you just a couple weeks ago that Hoard of the Dragon Queen was available. And of course now it's Tiamat's turn because, of course, why would Tiamat want to be left out of anything?
She has her heads everywhere.
The, of course, module for the Fantasy Ground system includes the entire adventure. You can get image handouts that can be shared with your players collectively or individually. It's up to you as the DM. There is maps that are DM only, and everything you need to run the adventure is included in the pack. The other caveat to this one is you must have the 5e rule set for Fantasy Grounds, which kind of makes sense.
And I see that it's $20.
Which is in line with all the other modules on there. So that's apparently Fantasy Grounds price for the mods are going to be $19.99 because they all have been so far.
Right, then let's head into the Sword Coast Legends, which is now available for pre-order on Steam. And why would you want to pre-order this so early?
Well, why would you not want to pre-order it so early? So you can jump right in when it launches, of course, Pine Lane. Yeah, we haven't heard much about this lately. It's just been kind of they've been slowly putting out, some new videos and of gameplay, but there was nothing about the Steam pre-orders. And today I noticed that they tweeted it was available for Steam, so I head over to Steam and I looked, and lo and behold, it is. And right now it is 13% off, and that is a special promotion that's running through August 27th. You can pick up the base edition for $34.99, or you can get the snazzy special digital deluxe edition for $59.99. And the other thing that kind of jumped out of me about this too is Steam has this listed as being available September the 8th, which I do believe this is the first time we have seen a release date for Sword Coast Legends. Before they just said it was coming late summer, early fall, which would put that right in the September 8th category, but they've never actually set a date until I saw this on Steam, so that kind of jumped out at me as well. But
Right. And what I notice about this is that the countdown that they provide is talking about is I found it strange that the countdown says approximately 3 months, 1 week, and 17 hours, but it's available September 8th. Today is, well, that we're recording this is June 8th. That's 3 weeks. What do you mean 3 weeks, 1 week, and 17 hours? 3 months. That's 3 months, not 3 months, 1 week, and 17 hours.
oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
They're treating it as if we had as if months were 4 weeks long instead of 4 months and change.
I never even caught that. Yeah, I don't know why.
So that's the little thing that I noticed there. Then head on to the Wizards D&D team heads to the Temple of Elemental Evil. What, you mean they're going to the actual temple?
Maybe they found the portal finally.
Ooh!
This actually broke right before we recorded. Today I seen a tweet by the good folks over at Wizards, and those crazy folks are going to start running the original Temple of Elemental Evil adventure. They've converted it to 5e. The Dungeon Master is going to be Mike Merles, and he's going to lead a party through the original Temple of Elemental Evil module. And you can watch via the official D&D Twitch channel to see how well they fare and how quick they die in the temple. And the people that are going to run through it are basically, there's a bunch of people that are a part of the Magic the Gathering brand team, and one of them is from the D&D team. But of course, Mike Merles is going to be the Dungeon Master, so it will be awesome to watch this because I have seen Mike Merle's DM stuff before, and him and Chris Perkins both make amazing Dungeon Masters. So this will be pretty fun to watch, and it's going to start on June the 11th. It's going to be from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time on June the 11th, and then the 18th, the 25th, and they're going to wrap it up on July 2nd. And all of those are 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Is it Pacific Standard or Pacific Daylight?
Says PST, so I would think standard. Unless you know.
Usually I see them put on.
Right.
I've seen that typoed more often than being said properly, though, at this time of the year.
Right, yeah. So, and once again, you can head over to the D&D official Twitch page to watch them run through the temple, and I can't wait to watch this because it should be a very, very good time.
So I just have to remember to do that. Because at first I thought I wouldn't be available. Then I'd say, wait a minute, Pacific time.
Yes, and that is Thursday nights, in case anybody was wondering.
All right, then let's head into our week in DDO. And Drac, what have you been up to?
I didn't do a lot this week, actually. My 14 Rogue ran through the Temple of Elemental Evil Part 1 on hard mode. Of course, no weapons at all from the chest.
Well, were you expecting one?
No, not really at this point. That was just exercise in futility at this point, I think. But we'll see. And then, for some strange reason, I decided to run invaders on hard mode just because I wanted to go kill some beholders, I guess. I really have no idea why I ran that. I was just, after I got down in the temple, I went to the harbor for some reason. I saw that quest there and I thought, yeah, I'll run that again. That'll be fun. So
I
I did
thought you would
that.
say you wanted to practice for when we do it on our regular group.
Hey, it could be. Maybe I was getting a little beholder killing practice in. We'll go with that. It sounds better. My Ranger Rogue is still at level 13. And of course, that's the one I do with you. And I will let you talk about the fun we had this week.
That's right. On my Artificer with Drac, we went to Lord March Plaza where we ran Diplomatic Immunity, which went fairly well. We had a little bit of a challenge during the boss fight, but we got through it. After that, we ran Framework, which whoever was doing that had quite a sense of humor because we were to kill Minotaurs with a wand of rock-solid evidence.
Yeah, that was... At first, I couldn't figure out what you were laughing about. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. That's great. So kudos to the dev that wrote that. And that whole quest was kind of funny, especially the person that gave you the quest was kind of, he was a little interesting to deal with. We'll just put it that way.
Well, he must have been a pretty good spellcaster if he is able to create a wand that can even be used by a barbarian.
Hey, I didn't think about that, but true.
Because as he goes through this big deal, says, yeah, I made this wand that's barbarian-proof, meaning even a barbarian can use it. And when it comes to wands, barbarians aren't usually capable of using such things.
Yeah,
my character at least has a decent level of use magical device, so I could have... So it would be reasonable to say that I might have been able to use it, and your character probably has a reasonable level of it too, being a rogue.
Oh, yeah. So
we shouldn't have had too much trouble to it, but based on his dialogue, a random fighter or barbarian should be able to use it also, which I said takes an impressive level of spellcasting to make such an item.
But that whole quest was just well written, I think. It had some nice little kind of snarky jokes, and I really enjoyed that quest. And it's always fun to kill Minotaurs too, so that was a bonus. And then I know you were laughing about the one that's like, not done killing Minotaurs yet.
Yeah.
Kill more Minotaurs.
The optional quests. The
optional
quests were also very humorous.
Yeah, they were. So good job on the dev that came up with the wording for that quest.
We also looked into Refuge in the Storm. We didn't actually run all that was going on in there. We just got to a room eventually and found out what this was all about. And there's one point in there where, yes, don't worry, all you have to do is jump off this moving airship.
And what's wrong with that? We lived, didn't we?
Okay, we did live through there. I admit that we did that. Of course, it did help that I had a ring of feather falling.
Yeah, about halfway down, I had said to Piedleap, I'm like, yeah, we probably should have took our feather falling stuff off because this is going to take forever. Because we were really high up when we jumped. And it was like one of those, you were just kind of, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go make some coffee and maybe a sandwich. And maybe by the time I get back, we might be down in the water, but we'll see.
With my permadeath fighter, I was level 3 for most of the way through. I started the harbor, did the usual thing about protecting the boxes and breaking boxes and retrieving stolen goods. And the retrieving stolen good ones, I did it hard. So I was doing it, since it's a level 2 base, I was doing it level 3, and I barely got through that. After that, I decided to go into the Cerulean Hills and went around killing orcs and saving farms and rescuing ladies and all that fun stuff that you do there. And I also found a cave with orcs in it that I'd never noticed before when going through there. I think there's still a couple of spots that I have not found in the Cerulean Hills, so perhaps someday I'll take somebody in there and just find all the points of interest. Then I went into the steam tunnels, and there I reached level 4 when I was doing the Sacred Helm. And this time I actually took a close look at the helm that you get there, and I noticed that it had a high Intimidate score on it. Now, Intimidate was the only skill I was putting points into in this character anyway. So I decided to don this helm, and it gave me like this ridiculous Intimidate level, despite my pretty poor charisma. And I went into the harbor and actually completed the harbor guard quest, which I almost never finish because once you hit level 5, you're no longer eligible for it.
Right, yeah.
But now with this insane Intimidate score, I was able to go in there, scare them away, and complete the quest.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually finished that quest on any of my characters because I usually don't have any of the things high enough to actually do it. So,
well, I would think that when you bring in your Warlock, since most of them are those charisma-based skills.
Yeah, that's true. I might be able to.
Warlock should be able to get through at least one of them.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to try that. I bet I probably could.
I then ran through the Sharn Syndicate. So I did Stand Your Ground, Dirty Laundry, The Fresco, the Bookbinder Rescue, Repossession, and then Come Out and Slay. And some notes on all this is that when I did Stand Your Ground, I think I finally figured out why when I'm playing cleric types, I really don't do well in that quest. So this time I was going with my fighter, and I noticed that my NPC cleric seems to have absolutely no trouble healing the NPCs. But when I'm going in with the cleric, since I don't have an NPC cleric with me, I seem to always have trouble healing the NPCs. I seem not to be able to heal the NPCs, but my cleric has absolutely no trouble doing it.
I've never done that quest as a healer, so I don't know. I'll have to.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I must be doing something wrong. Either that or the hirelings have some secret avenue into how to heal these guys.
I'll try that. I do have a cleric still on Korthos Island. Maybe I'll try that and see if I can heal him, and we can.
Well, that's not Korthos Island.
Well, I know. I'm just saying. My cleric is still low enough level where I could run the quest on level because I'm still on Korthos. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's see. On the Bookbinder's Rescue, that took me 2 attempts to do. The first time I was doing it, there was one of the NPCs. I could not find the NPC anywhere, and then suddenly I got the message, sorry, he's died, you lose.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that quest anyway. But
that's the one where the Barbarian had 3 strikes, and I decided the Barbarian was dead.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was only 1 strike against the fighter in that one. Then Repossession, right? So, and Come Out and Slay. In Come Out and Slay, I decided to befriend Benny the Hand. Every time I'm doing this lately, the last couple of times, I decide, all right, out of the rut of always befriending the Knoll and just start befriending other people, see how many different ones I can befriend while I'm working on this. Then I went to the test server and ran a little Korthos Island with the Warlock there just to get a little better idea how the Warlock works. And I'm definitely going to be getting a Warlock when it gets released. So I was getting a lot of fun with that. And that concludes my week. If you would like to help support DDO players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be able to guest host with us. We don't have any reviews from iTunes and no official featured comments, though I did mention one earlier in the show. We didn't receive any emails, but if you would like to send us one, you could send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance, @PlayersAlly, DDO Players, @DDO Players, Draculetta, @Draculetta_72, Pineleaf, @Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for this week. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.